Episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vase, coming to you live on this Monday morning, East Coast USA time, before the markets open, unfortunately, but I had to do this video a little bit earlier today than usual. So let's just get on with the market. We have a very interesting morning going on in Bitcoin and in traditional markets. So we will get to all of that. Hope the audio is better. I am slowly figuring out how to properly set settings. And this setting continues to move by itself. I need to turn off enhanced audio because it just changes by itself. Okay, so I think this is a good audio level. And hopefully the sound is coming in clear. I'm not using the lavalier mic. I am just using the, where is that? I am just using the wireless receiver. All right, guys. Let's go to the charts. Okay, here is the weekly chart. The weekly chart is back inside of the triangle. I had adjusted this triangle based on what happened, well, exactly 1 week ago, as we had a huge rally after the big drop down to 47,000. We are now forming an entire weekly candle above the lowest period moving average, which is the 7-period moving average. But notice how the MRI indicator remains in bearish territory. So that means not all of my metrics are yet bullish based on the weekly time frame. We're going to need a few more weeks to figure this out. In order for my counts on the MRI to become positive, we would need a new all-time high weekly close, because 4 weeks ago we had the highest all-time weekly close. So we would need that this week. Otherwise, we would go neutral next week and then break the week after that. So this creates a little bit of a challenge on a weekly scale to go bullish by all my metrics. But I don't necessarily need the MRI to be in bullish territory for me to be bullish on the weekly chart. The MRI is not my number one indicator that I use in my trading analysis. My number one indicator is the price itself, which means the closing price and the swing highs and the shape of the candle. That is my number one metric. And based on that metric, this is a very promising week to become bullish. If this week manages to give us an entire candle above the moving average after closing a full candle below the moving average, that sets us up very, very nicely. We can look back on history. I'm going to expand this chart because I'm going to go to history. The last time we had a full candle below the moving average, which was right here, this was our last candle fully below the moving average on the week of September 7th. And then it took us an additional 1, 2, 3 weeks. Then we finally broke above the moving average on the 4th week. And then on the 5th week, after this candle, we finally had an entire candle be opening, closing, high and low, fully above the 7-period moving average. And from that week, the price of Bitcoin, from the close of that week, the price of Bitcoin rallied. Well, it had its first correction basically after a 250% move or a $30,000 move. But the next time it fully closed below that moving average was even higher than that for a 327% move. And I am, of course, going to use the closing price. I'm going to compare apples to apples here. So this candle could set us up for yet another one of these big rallies to the upside. Probably not as big as the last time, but this is my metric. Now, using the same exact metric to be bullish by having an entire candle above the lowest period moving average of relevance, over on the daily chart, we had our entire candle above all of the moving averages 2 days ago. That was the last time I did a video, which was on Saturday. Sorry, I did not bring you guys a video yesterday on Sunday. Took a little bit of a day off. So this candle almost closed above all the moving averages, but it did close fully above the shortest period moving average, which happens to be below the intermediate period moving average. But as we continue to rally, this fate will reverse fairly quickly. This is a very interesting candle because the current candle has given us a brand new all-time high, and so far a not all-time high, sorry, a brand new swing high, and so far a brand new swing close. We still have half a day to go, so we will see if we will continue to rally to the upside and create that new swing high close. We probably will, but you never know until it does. So this is a very good sign. Now I have this blue line as a critical level of resistance. To me, this is the best fit line of the rally to the upside. I can even expand it back a little bit, and you can see how, even though we're not touching the previous swing high here at 58,000, there is a little bit of a gap. It is still pretty damn good. We had a top a little bit below, we had a top a little bit above, we had this one more fake out more above, and now we had a secondary fake out more below. However, this time I believe is going to be somewhat similar to this middle top, where we are approaching this critical line of the breakout. This is, you can virtually see it as a $60,000 round number resistance, and we are hitting it with the MRI. I see this as a consolidation style MRI, and therefore oh, thank you guys for being in the chat. I like the chat today. Less trollish than usual. All right. Hold on one second. Okay. I see this top as more of a consolidation top, similar to what happened on April 3rd. On April 3rd, we'll have a little bit of a pullback, which should hold the moving averages. And then the next time we break above the 60,000 area, it should be real nice, taking us all the way to 70s and above. This is what happens when you come off a brand new swing low trying to challenge the all-time high. It tends to pull back a little bit. This also gives the longer-term period moving average to catch up to the price, and it gives these shorter period moving averages to reset. Okay. That's it for the daily chart. I am looking for a short-term top here. Does it have to happen? Absolutely not. We can just bust through it. As an example of busting through a daily MRI, it could also happen like this. This was also a situation where I anticipated a slightly bigger slowdown before the big breakout, and it did not happen. We broke out right away. Guys, the breakout is coming. I am generally bullish here, even though from a technical analysis standpoint, the weekly chart is still telling you to be cautious, and the daily chart is telling you to be cautious. But this is Bitcoin, and we are certainly in a bull market. So I am generally bullish, even though the TA metrics are telling us to be a little bit cautious. Shorter term time frames. Here's the daily time frame. This is interesting and a little bit surprising. Normally in this kind of situation right here, I would be leaning more bearish than bullish. Support of the MRI support line, which breaks on this candle, which also happens to be a red star candle on the hourly chart. And this sets up a general environment where things tend to go south. However, this was a very interesting fake out, and we went immediately to the upside, basically late last night when the futures markets opened in the stock market. Obviously, the futures markets opened on Bitcoin itself. Now, that is interesting because the stock market, as you can see, is rebounding this morning. The interesting part of the stock market is that last week was a reversal candle and an MRI warning week. That means in about an hour, when the stock market opens, this will have a red arrow down candle saying that this is the weekly end to the MRI. Here is an example of what happens when a weekly MRI ends and the market reverses for a 1 to 4 candle correction. But this is an example where a weekly MRI ends and the market continues to go up. Now, you may think this is 50-50. What is the point of this indicator if it's half right and half wrong? That's not how technical analysis works. Almost all technical analysis is going to be half right and half wrong. However, it's your expertise in trading it, because there are such things as stop losses and there are such things as gains, taking profit on your gains. There's a huge difference between this MRI top and this one, because this happens after a huge rally and this happens in consolidation. Again, if you're a non-trader and you have not watched educational videos on the indicators that you are trading, it is literally a recipe for disaster and to have you lose all of your money. This is an MRI top that slightly resembles more this environment of a continued rally than this environment of a very slow rally with consolidation. This one is a bit in between. We had a big rally, but the last 3 weeks have consolidated, which is considerably different to the last 3 weeks of this rally, but not as consolidated as the last 5 weeks of this one. So this MRI top is somewhere in between, and we will see how this week develops. But I would be very, very careful with going all in on the stock market this week for those that are trading the stock market. Gold is rallying as well. As you guys know, I am bullish on gold for the rest of the year and possibly the rest of the decade. I think it is gold's time to go to new all-time highs. However, gold reaching 5,000 and going 100x on the prior all-time high is over the next 4 years is really not that big of a deal, because Bitcoin will probably go another 3 to 5x during that time. So Bitcoin is clearly, I believe, the better risk reward benefit analysis play. But hey, to each their own. I'm sure Peter Schiff will be screaming once gold hits, $2,100 as Bitcoin is crossing 100,000, and he'll be very, very happy. That is it, I believe. I don't really have much else. I will pull up the Bitcoin dominance chart, and this Bitcoin dominance chart is actually scary and based on what's happening with the price of Ethereum and other shitcoins. I am going to be prepared for a huge crash in Bitcoin, mostly because people are stupid. And the stupidity of people rushing into shitcoins is basically getting me mentally ready for an eventual 75% correction in Bitcoin. Now, I have no idea where this correction is going to come from or the catalyst for this correction, but the correction is coming. I was hoping Bitcoin would avoid these 75 to 80% corrections in the future, and it could have avoided these 75 to 80% corrections in the future if Bitcoin dominance had trended in the opposite direction, which means that people are actually, we're going through a hyper Bitcoinization where people are using Bitcoin with a full economic cycle, where people are earning Bitcoin, paying in Bitcoin, using Bitcoin, but that is not what's happening. This is once again a speculative bubble. And maybe on an upcoming news show that we will do later this week, we can talk about a potential catalyst that could absolutely crush Bitcoin for a 75% correction. Now, this can happen next week after Bitcoin reaches 80,000. This could also happen next year after Bitcoin reaches 300,000. We just don't know. But this Bitcoin dominance chart tells me that there's an 85 to 90% probability that this correction is coming. I can give you one example of a catalyst that I can envision taking Bitcoin down 80%, and that is, of course, the complete implosion of Ethereum. So if we look at Ethereum, and if we're looking at Ethereum versus Bitcoin, it is not even close to hitting its all-time high versus Bitcoin, but everyone is fixated on the dollar version versus Ethereum. We can, of course, take a look at the candles. So those are the Heikin-Ashi candles. Let's look at the regular candles. Actually, I should look at these candles. So based on the weekly chart of Bitcoin versus Ethereum, Ethereum may still have a lot more upside, 3 to 4 weeks of upside, and then it could go through a correction. I have no idea what's going to happen with Ethereum 2.0 and how that transition goes, but sooner or later, Ethereum will basically shit the bed, for the lack of a better term. And if the value of Ethereum, say, drops 98% overnight because it is technologically unscalable, or there is another DAO hack situation, I can completely see that scenario of an Ethereum implosion and people losing all their money in Ethereum, taking down Bitcoin for a 70 to 80% correction. Because to me, the stupidity of people not understanding Ethereum and its eventual death will make the same people, or a lot of people, believe that it can happen to Bitcoin. But the probability of it happening to Bitcoin is significantly smaller than the probability of it happening to Ethereum. However, in my anticipation, when, not if, Ethereum completely stops functioning, that would reflect poorly on all crypto and Bitcoin itself. And I would not be surprised that Bitcoin would go through a massive correction, similar to what happened during the COVID crash, where the price of Bitcoin literally crashes for 50 to 60% virtually overnight within a matter of days due to the collapse of popular altcoin. Now, this doesn't have to be Ethereum. This could be one of the other top 10 altcoins. Maybe not Cardano, it's too new. Definitely not Ripple, because that's just a scam. But some of the other ones, maybe something like BNB, for example, or maybe something like Litecoin. So I think those are pretty much the only ones. Litecoin, Binance. I doubt Monero would be a catalyst. But one of these big altcoins, like the probability of one of those altcoins just completely getting annihilated is significantly higher than Bitcoin. And, well, it's a combination of if it happens versus when it happens. That kind of annihilation of a altcoin that's been around and is popular for the last 7+ years will completely have insecure people that are only in it for the money lose full confidence in Bitcoin and panic sell, creating a giant catastrophe in Bitcoin, which of course Bitcoin will recover, but that shitcoin will not. So there's your catalyst. Doge won't take it down. Like if Doge implodes, people are just going to laugh, and it will not have that much of an effect on Bitcoin. All right. People are asking me what I think about DeFi, like PancakeSwap. I think me reading your question made me lose a couple of brain cells, so I don't like thinking about stupid. All right, let me just glance to your live chat real quick. Oh yeah, funding rate. Let's go take a look. The funding rate on Bitcoin is starting to pick up, just starting to pick up. So once again, I think that this MRI top coming up tomorrow will probably reverse Bitcoin's fate. I can see us coming close to 60,000 within the next 24 hours. And then I can also envision a 1 to 4 candle pullback. We can do a quick, peek at a lightning round of shitcoins. We'll probably use the daily charts. Doge is once again pushing for a new all-time high, and I would not be surprised if it gets it versus Bitcoin and versus the dollar. Versus the dollar is almost imminent. But look at this. There's an MRI top on the dollar version or the penny version of Doge, but it's happening in consolidation, so it is a 50-50 shot on whether this is bullish or bearish. Either way, I do believe Doge will go to a new all-time high versus the dollar and probably a new all-time high versus Bitcoin. Ethereum still has a bunch of room on the daily scale versus Bitcoin, and on a dollar scale, this should be close to an MRI top. An MRI top tomorrow on the daily Ethereum, so be careful about that one. Monero is not doing as hot. That is consolidation. So we will see. It doesn't look very bullish to me on the daily versus Bitcoin. Daily versus the dollar is just consolidating, but everything is pumping. So that one is probably a little bit more bullish. Thank you, Rick, for your generous super chat. Litecoin is consolidating. The chart does not look interesting at all, neither bullish nor bearish versus the dollar. Everything is going to be bullish. Wow, beautiful MRI buy on the dollar along with the MRI sell on the dollar. The Binance is on an MRI top versus Bitcoin, so I would, of course, be careful, but it's also happening in consolidation, which is, double-edged sword, bullish price action, bearish MRI. This is very different than the last MRI top, which was clearly a reversal because it was happening in an exponential rise versus consolidation. Versus the dollar, everything is rising and it's at a new all-time high, but this is, again, double whammy here. That is an MRI warning candle. Look at the last time the dollar version hit an MRI top, so that should tell you something. So tomorrow that is coming. Cardano is neutral. It is neither bullish nor bearish versus Bitcoin, and versus the dollar, it is also neither bullish nor bearish. I don't even know why the hell I'm looking at this nonsense. Maybe I'll add more shit coins one of these days, but we're going to go ahead and leave it there. All right. That's it. That's it. GBTC is going to open soon, and I will once again hold back a little bit. I am almost ready to go back in 100% into GBTC, but I'm being, I know what's stopping me is the MRI top that's going to happen tomorrow on the daily chart. I did not look at the 4-hour chart on Bitcoin, so I will go ahead and do that now. The 4-hour chart on Bitcoin is probably still bullish, decent little pullback, not telling us very much. So I will be holding off on this. I'm going to wait and see how the MRI top plays out between today and tomorrow and probably the next day. And we will see. I might be going in towards the end of the week after I see how the MRI has played out. What happened? My sound went off? My sound was fine. What happened to my sound? What happened to my sound? I didn't touch anything. I have no idea what happened. I didn't touch anything on the sound. Is it better now? I didn't touch anything on the sound. I don't know what's going on. Like, I mean, I switched microphones, so the sound should be good now. But like that other mic, I didn't do anything. I didn't even touch it. It was just sitting there. Shouldn't have been anything on the sound. Well, it sounds fine now because I switched microphones. I gotta get these wireless mics to work. I'm tired of traveling with big mics and always like connected with wires. They're supposed to be good microphones, but I'm not using it now. But all right, I'm gonna try to switch back to it. See what happens. I'm back to the wireless mic. I don't know. This may or may not be good. All right. So I'm going to finish off with this unless everyone starts complaining. Let's go back to screen share. Well, we're pretty much going to end it. Looking at the Mempool, we cleared a lot of blocks over the weekend. This was like 170, and now we're down to 115. We were clearing like we have to have been clearing 5 sat per byte transactions over the weekend. We can go and take a look. That's a really good sign. As you can see, we cut into this blue zone, which is the 5 to 6 sat per byte transactions. So this was a good weekend to, move your Bitcoin around. Oh, I didn't even know you can do that. Cool. Okay. But hopefully we don't clog up the mempool during the week, and then we can cut into some of these other zones over the weekend. Right now, it should not be very expensive to move your transactions. Should be able to send it at 8 to 10 Satoshis per byte, and it should clear fairly quickly, even now here on Monday. All right, guys, if you're looking to learn trading, there's a free section under tomebase.com, Learn Trading. Also have slightly more advanced courses that are paid, risk management, technical analysis, and for the really advanced stuff, you can consider the MRI. Also, we are very, very close to finalizing a contract with a hotel in Dubai for the next financial summit, one of the few places where you can actually have an event besides Miami, Florida, and maybe Texas is Dubai. There's really nowhere else in the world where you can have an event. I was thinking Zanzibar until the president suddenly died, and now that is no longer an option. So all we have left is Dubai. Definitely a way more pricier venue. So we may have to raise the price, but those that get in early will be able to still buy a ticket at the early bird price. All right, guys, give you a lot more info on this very, very soon. This is going to be our focus over the next few months to try and sell this out. And it will sell out because it's limited number of attendees. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching. And I will see you all on the next one. Next time you get a chance, buy the dip. All right. Talk to you all on the next one, guys. Bye.